Yo, it is officially hurricane season. Hey, what's up, folks? How's it going? Sherman Milton III here, aka Broker Sherm, bringing you all things real estate. Yo, so as a Floridian, right? Someone who's lived here my entire life, I've been through a couple of different storms, right? So you've moved to Florida, or you're just a homeowner now, and you're curious about what do you need to do now that it's hurricane season and we have a named storm that's actually going to be heading our way, right? First things first, I think it's Dennis Phillips. Dennis Phillips is like, don't panic, right? If you don't know who Dennis Phillips is, go check him out. You can find him on YouTube, Instagram. He's like this famous meteorologist that we love here in Tampa, and we don't panic until he panics, right? But first things first, right? You want to stay informed. You want to know what's going on because one thing about these hurricanes, they can change at the last minute. You may go to bed and that hurricane may be heading your way. You may wake up and it's taking a shift, and now it's going through the Gulf, heading a different direction, right? But stay informed, stay prepared, right? Staying prepared is essential. You want to make sure that you have everything that you need for that storm. They recommend that you have like 1 gallon of water per day per person that lives in the house, so you make sure you have water. But at the end of the day, honestly, like Publix does a great job at like once a hurricane hits that they're restocked and they're open right after the storm so they can serve you and make sure that you have food. But you still want to make sure you have water, whether it's a gallons of waters, bottles of water, fill up some containers and get some water. Have some non-perishable foods, right? One of the things that I have not eaten, a lot of since I was a child is tuna fish, right? Because like I kid you not, I ate so much tuna fish during like hurricane, right? Because we just had tuna fish left over in the cooler, etc. So get some non-perishable foods. Tuna fish is a good one. Lunch meat, right? We call it lunch meat here in the South. I don't know what you all call it. You may call it cold cuts if you're up from the North. But anything that you can keep in a cooler that you can easily eat that doesn't require you to turn on a stove. You don't need any flame or anything like that. So cold cuts, lunch meat, so you can make some sandwiches, right? Some chips. You do some bologna, right? Like if you're in the South, we love us some bologna, some fried bologna sandwiches. But guess what? Most of us ain't got no power, so we can't even fry up that bologna sandwich. So non-perishables. You also want to make sure that you have batteries, right? Anything that's ran battery operated, make sure you have some additional batteries. Nowadays, we have like these little power packs that we can just charge our phones with, because you want to make sure your electronic devices that you can charge your phone, you can charge your radio. I don't even think folks even use radios anymore. My grandmother still has a radio. Flashlights, that's a big one. But again, our cell phone does so much now. Like honestly, all you need is a cell phone. You can listen to the radio. You can watch the news. You can use it as a flashlight. There's so many things. So you want to make sure you have batteries as well. Oh, insurance is big, right? So here's the thing. So I rarely evacuate. And that's another thing. Learn where your evacuation zone is just in case you need to evacuate to a shelter or somewhere else. But um, anytime I have to leave my house because there's a storm coming, what I like to do is I like to just do a quick walkthrough video of my place just to make sure, hey, I have documentation of what was here before, just in case you do have, issues, you do have, damages from the storm or whatever it may be, you have some documentation that you can show to the insurance company. So let's talk about insurance because this is important. This is very, very, very important because this last two storms that hit, I saw so many people that were just out of luck. Your regular policy, yes, a hurricane will hit and you do have insurance is going to cover a hurricane. But if your home floods and you don't have a flood insurance policy in place, you're not going to get any money. I'm not an insurance broker. You need to reach out to your insurance carrier or your insurance agency that you work with. They can get you all the details, but don't get caught slipping, right? And just because your house is not in the flood zone does not mean that your house isn't going to flood. I saw that with these last two storms, the Helen and whatever the other one name was. I saw a lot of people that got flooded out that did not live anywhere near the water, wasn't in a flood zone, and because those storms hit back to back, we saw a lot of flooding and a lot of folks. I mean, I know folks they're still waiting to get money back from FEMA, because of these past two storms. So check out your insurance policy and see what it covers, and see if you need to increase that. But do that now. Do that now before a named storm, because what happens is once that storm is named and it's out in the Gulf or wherever it's at, these insurance companies, what they do is they lock down and you can't change your policy, you can't bind coverage. I can't even sell a house during a named storm and get hurt and get insurance, most likely because all of these carriers have shut down and are not writing policies until after that storm hits. So that's something to think about as well. And look at your policy limits. make sure that maybe I should just do a whole other video about insurance, or I'll bring on one of my insurance friends. But look at your insurance policy limits as well, right? And see what your policy limits are, and make sure that your policy limits are set to a place where, hey, if I were to lose everything in here, that you have enough coverage, right? Enough coverage. I'd rather you will have a little bit more coverage than not enough coverage. Even though if you have more coverage and you don't have the valuables in your home, they're not going to pay you out that. But you just want to make sure that you at least have the coverage. So hurricane season's here. Make sure that you have some non-perishables. You have some battery packs. Um, Actually, cash. Make sure you keep cash too, even though like we have cash app and things like that. But listen, I'm gonna put y'all on game, right? I find I get the best barbecue rib sandwiches during the hurricanes, right? Because I'm always out in these streets going to eating, right? And I can always find somebody selling barbecue in the neighborhood. Selling barbecue on the side of the road. And so make sure you have some cash, right? So you can pull up and you be like, yo, let me get a rib sandwich. So that's just something to think about, right? You should always have some cash and make sure you have some small denominations just in case, because you never know what you may need cash for. It's very crucial. It's very important that you do keep some cash on you. That it is hurricane season, and if we do have a storm coming up. But that's all that I have for you all chatting about hurricanes. It can be a little scary, but just stay informed. And if I can help you all out with anything, give me a call, shoot me a DM, and just shoot me a message, whatever it is. But it's your boy Broker Sherman. I am out. Peace.